Welcome to Yes, Yes, Speaker. Today we're talking about going against the grain and non-conforming decisions we tend to make. But first, in the words of the great Julie Chen, host of Big Brother, airing tonight on CBS. How are you, Marissa?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
How's your cough?
Oh, I don't have one.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so doing mighty fine.
I'm feeling a certain kind of way this week, though.
Why? What's up?
I don't know. So I'm having a hard time processing my feelings, much less talking about them. But
You
I
always have a hard time processing your feelings.
I know. But listen, when you know better, you do better. I had absolutely no idea until you told me last week.
What I told you?
Oh, that
What I said?
No, that I don't like to talk about my feelings.
Oh, you don't?
No, I had no clue.
Did you listen to the show last week?
I did.
Did you notice what I was talking about?
Absolutely. Because, so the thing is, I was giving an answer, right? But I wasn't talking about my feelings, but I was giving an answer. So it was one of those things which is, I'm notorious for. So when you, think about it, you're like, oh my God. But oh my gosh. And then, then I'm, trying to think hard and heavy about my feelings. And all I've been doing all week was I don't have any. I have too many. I don't have any. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But this week, I'm processing stuff. So I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
You're actually going against your own grain.
My own grain. I know. Fitting topic to today.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about it because I feel like if I know better, I do better.
Okay.
And I'm trying to rip off a Band-Aid here.
Do it.
So I'm feeling a certain kind of way about my family. I feel like I'm expected to be obsessive over my family members.
Some family members.
Some family members.
Right.
Yeah. And their children. I always have to think of their children or them, or they always have to come first.
Offspring, whatever.
Yeah, but when it comes to my family, my feelings, and by family I mean the people that live in the same address as me, and my children, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hurt, but I don't know if I'm hurt because it's not the same, or am I hurt because I'm not being given the same respect that I'm demanded of. So is it my fault because I'm not demanding this, or I don't know. So I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
Well, I can only speak from knowing you for a long time.
20 years.
20 years.
20
oh
years,
my
baby,
gosh.
this month.
20 years. Wow. Okay.
It's our anniversary.
Oh yeah, 2020. That's the jam. 2020 had done it again. But I can only think about from what I know about you. So
Right.
So my thing is that you've always sought attention from people that didn't give it to you willingly.
Yeah.
It's like
agreed.
one of those things. There's a lot of people that are like that way.
Yeah.
That and you're not alone in that. Where
Right.
people spend more time. I mean, people write books about this, where they spend their energy and they focus their time on the people that don't focus their time on them.
Right.
And it only ends up hurting one party because the other party is like.
So, just cliff notes to that or asterisks to that. I mean, so I was thinking about that exact statement that you said, and part of me, the person, the group of people that I'm thinking about right now, when it comes to my feeling this week, it's one of those things where it's like. It's not so much that I've yearned for their attention or looked for it and they didn't give it back. It was given, but it's only given it's a self-serving. They take more than they give. But if you ask them, they give way more than they take.
Now let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be introspective. Where do you think you are in that? Do you think you do the same thing, or that you're not? You totally don't. Or is it because these particular groups of people, particular members of your family,
right,
that because they're not treating you the way that you're used to being treated?
No. So I'm used to being treated like garbage by my family.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Don't put that out. It's not true.
Sorry, okay.
You know that's not true.
Not by everyone.
You're used to being taken advantage of.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's
treated like shit as a whole.
No, you're right.
There are people that really get treated like shit.
No, you're right. You're 100% correct. I'm used to being taken advantage of.
Now you're being treated by certain members of your family like you don't even matter.
It's always been that way.
Right.
And I feel like.
But by these members of your family. But it hasn't always been like that in your life.
By them?
No, in your life.
In my life? No.
Right, and so this is new. Because usually if the minute somebody acts like you don't matter, you move on.
Yeah.
But with family, you can't move on.
I'm choosing not to move on.
Are you choosing, or are you kind of in a situation where you can't because it's family?
No, with them, I'm choosing.
But what I'm saying is with friends, you can. With family, you can't.
Yeah, but my friends are my family.
Not all your friends.
Yeah.
What other friends you got besides me that's your family?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I got no friends.
You got friends. People probably listen.
We're acquaintances.
Like,
No, I'm joking. I know you hate that I'm joking. I'm joking. No. With these particular family members, I don't see them all the time. I don't speak to them all the time. But it's one of those things that if I cut them out, no, there's no love lost. My life doesn't change. I'm choosing to stick it out.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to worry about you. You can't think about what other people are doing and them not, maybe not inviting you to something unless it's something that they need, or not. Like if it's like a barbecue, you don't get a call. Yeah. But if it's a barbecue to celebrate a birth, maybe they don't see you in the same way that you see them. And that's okay.
That's probably,
but that's okay. Right. We have relatives. I have relatives like that I only see family reunions, Father's Day picnic, that kind of thing. And I have other family members that swear we close as shit. And it's like, I ain't seen you in like 10 years. Like, no, we're not. You know what I mean? So it's all about, if both parties are not on the same page, then there's an issue. But my thing is, you can only control yourself. Yeah. And so if you're not feeling it, just move on. You see them when you see them.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And you want your kids to be around healthy relationships. Yeah. The last thing you want them to see is you being frustrated over a family member.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to go against my grain and talk about my feelings.
Just call me Tamika Van Zandt. Breathe.
Fix my life.
You're addicted to your story.
Speaking of that show that we went to for her, that book tour that she did was really good.
It was good, but at the same time, it was very like.
It was surface.
Yeah, it felt like it was You know how like you go to a car salesman,
it was like infomercial.
Yeah. Like you see them on TV and somebody's like, all right, clap, put your hands together. You know, like.
Yeah.
Anyway, so can we get back to the topic at hand?
Yep.
I know we didn't, fix your life, but they don't fix their life on Iyanla either. Every time you read the credits afterwards, and it's like what was resolved here? Yeah. So yeah, your life ain't resolved. No. But we move on. To today's show, going against the grain and non-conforming decisions we tend to make. So, anything pop into your mind?
Anything popping? No, because I'm like the cowardly lion. I don't really go against my grain. I always play it safe. No.
Well, this was a great topic.
So no,
until next week.
No, shut up. No, I'm trying to think.
All right, I'll start it off.
Thank you.
I mean, we knew we were talking about this. You could have put some notes together.
No, I did, and everything I kept thinking about was like I was boiling. My cup boileth over with feelings, and it's too many feelings.
Though.
I'm not sure though. You
don't have to share it today, but this is a safe place.
Okay. But this is why I don't talk about my feelings.
No, I know, but sometimes in order to be authentic and real, you have to share a little bit. Not saying share everything. I'm not telling you, every single detail, but there's certain things you should share.
Do you know what's so funny? I did share one day like a little snippet of like my inner self. So you remember Carl, the guy we used to work with?
Yeah. Why would you say his name?
Because he don't listen. Okay. He ain't gonna find
this. But somebody else might listen.
Whatever.
Watch me post this on Facebook, like Carl, the guy we used to work with, tag the mofo and everything.
Whatever. So he asked me one day, he's like, how are you always so happy? And I was like, I have internal rage, like the Hulk. And he laughed, and I was like, no, I'm kidding.
That's dead serious.
I was dead ass serious. And he was like, he laughed, and he was like really? And I was like, yeah, I have really deep, dark thoughts. And I'm doing this all with a smile. And my troll bubbly self, as I'm like bouncing around, I was like, no, I'm totally like deep, dark, and dead and crying on the inside. It's horrible. And he was like, all right, well, you keep smiling. And he walked away very uncomfortable, like I was going to murder him or something.
Yeah, probably thought that. It's funny that you say that because I was watching I forget what it. No, I was listening to something or watching something. Anyway, the guy was like, he was talking about friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not the show, people, individual friendships.
Yep.
And he said that if you have never had an argument with your friend, then y'all ain't real friends.
You think that?
Yeah, and it made me think, like, you know what? He's like, because y'all not being real. You can't possibly be with your friend and smile. Everything is happy-go-lucky all the time. You can't possibly have a friendship with someone and not be annoyed. It's like, you think
but
about,
to come out your face and like say something.
it's not about saying something, having an argument.
Right.
A disagreement. You know what I mean? And I started to think, I was like, have I ever had? I was like, yeah, you know. So it just reminded me, because you were saying you had this rage inside. There have been times where you've given me the look where I'm like, oh, it's over.
Really?
Yes.
Me?
Yes, because you let it come out every once in a while. It's not an everyday occurrence. Trust me. It's like every 3, 4, 5 years.
What?
Yes, you get it's a snippy thing. And okay, I don't remember. I do remember what it was. We had this argument, but our arguments are very mild. It's not screaming and yelling.
No, we're
at each
not
other.
disrespectful.
We're not like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I remember the argument we had very vividly, and it happened over a period of time. And I said to you, I was like, look, and this goes into going against the grain, because this is something that I don't do. I usually let shit fester, and I just deal with it. I get an ulcer. You always like, go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember you did something that, on a whole nother level, hurt my feelings in a way that I can't even, to this day, it still hurts me.
Oh my God.
And I let it, I was like, I'm done. I didn't call you, nothing. We didn't speak, we didn't talk on the phone, nothing. So we used to talk on the phone every night till like 11 o'clock. We used to always talk.
What is this?
And even when your kids were born, because your kids were born at this point, even when your kids were born, it was like, you still tried to make it, like, we still tried to be around each other, make effort, and this, that, and the other. But you chose, after everything that I felt like I've been trying to be for you in your time of need, but being the children and stuff like that, you made a choice and a decision that felt like a slap in my face, and I told you how I felt, and I was done with it. And I knew that it meant something to you, because you did something that you never do.
I apologized?
You not only did you apologize, you called me and you was like, can you get dinner tonight? You never do that. I was like, okay. We went to dinner, and you explained yourself, and you said, I'm sorry. I just don't know how to stand up to them. But I love you. I just need you to know I'm a work in progress.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. And then I presented you with a painting of your kids. Do you remember this day now?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So that when I say we argue, it's never like an argument where we don't yell and scream at each other. It's passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And usually ends up like making a joke out of it, but inside it's like we think about it and like, you know what? Yeah.
My internal rage and your ulcer.
Right,
You're
exactly.
festering.
So, but that for me, that was something.
I'm gonna call you TT Fester.
But that was you and I both going against our own personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
Grain.
I actually apologized.
You actually apologized, like, sincerely.
Which I never did.
You apologize all the time, but it's
no, but like dumb stuff, like bumped into you. Oh, sorry.
But you never sit down, look a person in the eye, and
apologize.
I was wrong. I apologize.
I've never. I think that's probably
and
the
that's
only
going
time.
against who you were.
Yeah.
Because I think in that moment you realize, what am I doing? This is my best friend.
Yeah.
She fucking came in my house and cleaned my whole house before it'd be
the
ready
kids,
for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think those kind of, because the baby was a baby still, and
yeah.
But anyway, so I think it's possible in all of us to go against the grain. But when I thought about this topic, the one thing that there were a few things that I was thinking about, but
no, go ahead.
Write it down so you don't forget it. There were few things I was thinking about. I was thinking about like society, because there's some things happening in my life right now, and the one thing that keeps coming up is money, and people keep asking me. They bring up money as a catalyst.
Right.
And I've never been one to choose money.
Right.
And for me, I feel like that's going against the grain, because everybody feels. I have never met anybody that didn't feel like money is like everything. It's like everybody it's like, oh, I can't do that because of money. It's no, you can do that.
You got choices.
You got choices. You know, you got a credit card. If you really want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
You'd be in a little bit more debt, but you
there's
die.
choices. Yeah.
It is what.
or you could stop buying Starbucks 5 days a week and allot it to that. No, you're
right.
100%.
So when I feel like I go against the grain in that respect, where I don't make I want money. I want more money, but I try not to make it my priority.
But see, this is what's so hard for people to understand and grasp. You have transcended the value of objects. You are more you are so in tune to when you say yes, you value money and you respect it. You know that you need it. You work hard for it. You save it. You spend it. All that stuff. So what you're doing when it comes to money, you're doing what's respectful and appropriate for you. But I think what people have such a hard time understanding is that you value people, and people don't even value themselves to really understand that statement. For you to say money doesn't matter, it's you're stabbing them in the spirit, because they only value them like America. Or I'm not going to say America, people in general, because this is all over the world.
Right.
People in general value themselves based on their W-2 and their tax bracket and stuff like that. So you're high class if you live in this neighborhood and make this amount. As Miss De Lesseps says, money can't buy you class.
Right.
You know? And you have transcended that. And that is one of those things that is so hard to do. And that only comes with a dramatic life-changing event where you get cancer, you're sick, you're facing death, and all you do is look around and see stuff. You value people. You value the experience that the two of you are having. Or like when somebody, let's say like a spouse, packs up and leaves, and you're just sitting there by yourself with your stuff, and stuff doesn't matter. You lose someone that you love. You genuinely love or ingratiated in your life. And again, you're just sitting there with your stuff, and stuff doesn't matter.
It's funny because there's been a few examples in my life that have led me to this point. One I had nothing to do with. I was watching Oprah, and she had an episode where they were looking through the women's pocketbooks, and the woman had all these dollar bills like crumpled up. And Oprah's like, or I don't remember if it was Oprah or one of the analysts, like, you don't respect money.
We talk about that episode constantly.
Like you don't respect money. This is what you think about money.
Yeah.
You ball it up and throw it in your bag like it's nothing, instead of neatly folded. My grandmother used to neatly, every dollar facing the same way in the elongated wallet. And it was perfect.
Yeah.
But then we know people that just like throw it in there and don't even
find it in their garbage in their room.
You know, if you find change on my floor, it's there intentionally, because you get a new car and you know, you throw change on the floor. It's usually there intentionally. But you're not gonna find no dollar bills. You're not gonna find anything like that, because it's just like I value money, but I don't put money as the number one priority in my life.
Right.
The other thing, actually two other things. I remember when I was probably like 15 years old, I was at my grandmother's house, and I was sitting on the floor or whatever in the living room watching TV, and my hair was a mess. In the summer, my hair is like an afro. It's just I sweat like crazy in my hair. It's just hot. And my dad walked in. I didn't really have a relationship with him.
Right.
Like, it's just, we really didn't have a relationship, you know.
Right.
And he walked in the house, and he's like, hey, you know, it's not one of those things where I see him and I jump up in his arms. So I said, hey, how's it going? And instead of saying, like, you know, come give me a hug or anything like that, he said, what's up with your hair? And I was like, I have to go to get a perm. I haven't had the money. And he threw $60 at me, like I was a whore.
Oh.
I will never forget that, because I felt cheap. Like, nobody asked you for money. You ain't never gave me shit before. Now you're gonna throw money at me like it's worthless, and you didn't even, like, it just, for me, it felt very like demeaning. Yeah. You know. And then the third thing is it's another relative. I'm not gonna say who, but he basically threw money at two of my younger cousins' feet. I just threw some singles, and they were on the ground scrambling and picking it up. And I was just like...
You threw it to them like they're animals.
Right.
Savages.
And those examples, only just a few examples, but it's like, it makes me not even want to think about money in that way, because it's like, things that it makes people do.
Right.
On both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, like, I know I need money to survive. I know I need money to do the things that I want to do, but I also know that in terms of happiness, it's not going to be money.
Yeah.
Like my happiest moments are not because of money. They're
Right.
moments that it's going to being at the park or the beach with my mother.
Yeah.
You know, those are the happier moments. It's going to the park or beach with you and your kids. You know, sitting on the porch with my family, telling jokes.
Yeah.
There's no money. You know,
Yeah.
it's those moments that mean the most to me. It's times when I went fishing with my dad, just me and him, sitting in complete silence
Mhm.
with a line in the water. That to me, I value more than any other time I've ever spent with him.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, we don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I think that for me, like the going against the grain is basically just not choosing money. You know,
Yeah.
and it sounds a little nuts,
But no, but see, that's what I'm saying. It might be nuts to someone else who hasn't transcended that thought yet. And once you get there, your life is 10 times richer because you understand another Louis Vuitton in your closet is not going to make you happy in the
Right.
morning. You know, might make, obviously, I mean, I love Louis, so.
I almost bought a Gucci bag last.
I know.
And I was like, you know what? I need a new phone.
So
Got
the
a
phone before the bag, but you
I'm
know.
gonna get that bag though. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
But so that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things where for me, I remember when I was very, very young, when my parents were still together, my dad was like sorting through his wallet. He couldn't stand his wallet being messy, so he would do it quite often. And he was like, fix this for me. And I was like putting everything, like, you know, the ones, everything facing the right way. And I remember I went to fold it and he flipped out because he had those folios. To him, you couldn't crinkle money. And yes, he dealt with OCD, but it was more of like, listen, this is money.
Right.
Everything here costs money. You respect it, you don't value it. And it's like, to a 4-year-old, that means nothing. But as you grow older, and those are like, cause I don't have a lot of moments with my dad, but I remember a lot of them, like especially, you know, all of us together as one family. Those like, I don't know, it sticks with you. And then as you grow older, you see people value things over people and what you're doing together and what you're building together with your relationship. It's like that statement continues to ring true.
What were you gonna say? Did you write it down?
I did. So when I didn't live with my parents. I've said that before. When I went to high school, and I remember the situation was not emotionally healthy for me. And I remember I just grabbed my sneakers and walked out the door. Didn't even grab socks. Didn't grab anything else. I just grabbed sneakers and walked out the door, and I never went back. And that is not who I am. I'm always playing it safe.
Right.
I never want to
conforming to the ideas of what others set
for me and set before me and for me. And I never want to hurt anyone's feelings because I always feel like I never want to be someone's like I don't want to be a thorn in someone's side. I always felt like, you know, I was talking about my dad before. I always felt like me and my brother, not so much him, but it was like, oh, my parents fight because they have kids. You know, because you hear your parents arguing, and, you know, my mom was very, very feisty. So she was like, you know, she said what she had to say, and she was there, you know, she was basically a single mom, but still married. So what was the sense? And that was, you know, a big part of her frustration when it came to him, and he didn't do anything. He got up, went to work, came home, hung out with his friends. Like, that's all he did. He didn't put in the work.
Right.
And then I saw her happiness elevate when he was out of the picture. When she left, she was happy.
Right.
And it's like, oh, all right. And then I remember she remarried, and then again, her happiness was paramount. And then me and my brother were out of the picture. My brother went to boarding school in Florida. I went to high school up here. And again, she was happy. And it was one of those things where it's like, I always equated like me, because I always see myself as a 12-year-old kid. I'm the problem, and I don't want to be that for someone else.
Right.
So I just remember that moment of just grabbing my sneakers and leaving. I don't do that. I never do that.
It's like totally out of your realm of even possibility.
Yep.
Like it's just not your.
Nope.
I can't even imagine you doing that today.
I know.
Like I can't imagine you say you and your husband have an argument, you pack up your kids and leave. Like you ever see women that do that? You're like, like how do you get the strength?
The strength. I was thinking.
And not even like I'm not even talking about abuse.
No.
It's like I just had enough of this dude.
Yeah, like
I'm taking my kid.
You're the problem, so I'm leaving. Yeah. I remember my mom vividly, like she was crying and tying my sneakers. I might cry.
I felt the just speakers.
I remember, and she's crying, and she was like, "I'm done," and she left. And I remember when she divorced my stepdad. That was very, very, very much. She wasn't as hurt, but she was hurt, yes. But the anger, the venom, was different, with my stepdad.
Right.
But I don't know. That's a tough lady.
She is missed, that's for sure. I think about her often, but yeah.
But her biggest thing for everyone, her motto was, listen, if that makes you happy, who cares if it doesn't make somebody else happy?
Right.
You have to think about yourself, because if you're happy, others around you will be happy.
Right.
And that's hard.
The thing too is that with this whole topic, the one thing that I thought about too is working in dental. Ugh. Working in dental was everything I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a sales rep.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to be around like teeth and learn, all that analytical shit?
Yeah.
It's just everything about dental for me
yeah.
was just not my thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you conform to what others believe, like I just remember the day that I went on the interview for the job. I thought I was going to be, it was like a probing interview.
Right.
The guy was like, let's see what, your best skill set, let's have a conversation. And I remember being in there and just I really like writing and marketing, so I was kind of thinking like maybe copywriting, writing the blurb for the, their dental magazine, right. The Bible. What is the book called that they had?
The catalog.
The catalog. So, write those kind of,
yeah.
I think I would have been decent with that.
You would have been great.
Outlining that, and he's like, no, I think you'd be good in sales. There's no black people in the sales department. I was like...
He had a void to fill, and you conformed to what he needed.
Right, and it wasn't about my needs.
No, it was about his.
And so I'm basically conforming to what he needed me to be. And I did it for 6 years, and I was miserable the whole time. So sometimes conforming to the ideas and the beliefs and the person that others expect you to be, it's going to lead you down a road of misery. And, I was unhappy, completely unhappy. I mean, I was going to therapy. Yeah. And now that I sit back on it, I'm like, I went to therapy about, my grandmother's passing. And, that's what led me there, because I didn't think I could handle it. And I swear every time that I spoke to this woman, I was talking about work. Then I wasn't working there. I feel so good.
Yeah.
I'm not where I want to be in life in terms of what the dream that you set for yourself, but I'm not conforming to what others believe I'm supposed to be.
It's funny. So as you're saying that, it makes me think of I was when I finished college, I was going on all these job interviews, and I was also doing in vitro at the same time. And right at the early stages of my in vitro, I was on the final stages of this interview with not the company that I ended up going with, but anyway, we're sitting there and the VP comes in, and it was the last round, and the manager, he was like, this is it. This is exactly how I want you to answer. He wanted me. When I got in, the VP looked at me, and you can tell he was disappointed. What he envisioned, because they showed him my resume and took my name out. He was very, very deliberate. Who would have been my manager was like, he took all the names off. And he said, because he wanted it to see meat and potatoes. No need for the salad. And when I walked in, he was like, well, how do you know to do this? And I was like, well, don't you train? Yeah, but I need someone who understands X, Y, and Z. And we were going back and forth, and I'm not combative, but I was also having hormones. Right. So I was very much, I was like a testosterone boost, so to speak. I was very much standing my ground. And he goes, the only thing I can offer you is an assistant apprenticeship. So whoever I hire for the position that you're interviewing for, you're going to be their assistant. And I went, absolutely not. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I walked in the door for. And when I looked over to who would have been my manager, he put his hands to his mouth in complete shock, and just he couldn't even, you could tell the complete and utter, he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed. And he goes, and so the VP that I'm interviewing with, he was like, oh, well, thanks for your time. At least we had this conversation. And I was like, I'd love to thank you for your time, but you completely wasted mine. I would have rather put the energy from today to another company. And he was like,
and that's going against your grain.
Completely.
Sometimes you can be that way with people you don't know.
Yeah, I'm
You're
not
never
gonna see him again.
them
Yeah, he don't live here neither. And it was one of those things. And I sent a quick thank you email, and I apologized for being bitey to who would have been my manager. And he was like, he called me, didn't even write me back, called me and was like, I don't know what happened. And I was like, no, I could tell. I didn't
You
fit
know
into.
what happened.
Yeah, you know what happened. I didn't fit into what he wanted, and that's okay.
Good old boys club.
I just hope that whatever you find. And I was like, oh, just by the way, I've been doing in vitro and I finally got pregnant, so I don't know if I'm going to be working anyway. And he's like, doesn't matter. I think you would have been so great here. Big belly and all. And I'm like, I know.
Sometimes you need to hear that, though. Too,
yeah.
Because it can fuel you to the next thing.
Which I did.
Right.
Which I did. I ended up going to the environmental company who ended up firing me because I got pregnant again. But whatever. I'm okay.
Oh, my gosh. Another show.
Another show. But I think of, like, I don't know. I was thinking all week, like, you know how people always like, especially when we were in the same sales company together, their biggest thing was like, get comfortable being uncomfortable, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, who wants to be uncomfortable?
Exactly.
Why? Go against your grain. But why? If you are who you are and you like who you are.
Did you hire me for me, or did you, like, I just can't.
Did you hire me to be something that you wanted? And
just real quick, I feel like, I honestly believe I was hired because of two things. Somebody that I knew in the company, and because of my race.
Yeah.
Because, and
they needed numbers.
And I don't want to be, I want there to be fairness in hiring practices, but I don't want to be nobody's token either.
No. But you knew you were a token when, as soon as you walk in, they give you historically minority, low-income communities to sell to.
I got to South Bronx.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind going to any of the places I want to.
No, but make it fair.
I live on Long Island.
In a very, very, very affluent.
Whatever. Like, we don't have to go there, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it ain't the South Bronx.
No.
And it's just very I don't know. It was very telling.
Yeah.
Of how I was perceived, and
right.
I don't know, and it just disgusts me. I'm not there no more, but it's like one of those things. It's like a learning experience. You've been there long enough that you're like, what the hell was that? You know, what the hell? What did I go through? And it was misery. Like, I tell you, like, I just was not happy.
I gained weight. I lost hair.
Oh my god.
I couldn't sleep.
Oh my gosh.
That place crushed my soul and spirit, and I'm still recovering. And I haven't been there in quite some time.
Where, to that place?
Yeah.
Why would you go there, though?
No, I said I haven't been in that place for quite some time, and I'm still recovering. They crushed my soul and my spirit.
Sorry, I'm slow.
No, you're not.
But yeah, it's we didn't have a chance. Ever. We never had a chance. It just wasn't. And you're talking about the spirit. The other thing, too, with going against the grain and non-conforming whatever decisions that we make, it's about making decisions that bring you joy in life.
Yes.
And it's like, do you make decisions, do you think, overall speaking, in your whole entire life, we're talking work and family balance, okay? Yeah. Put it all together. Do you think you make decisions that go against the grain in terms of, like, if you had to choose a state of being today,
right?
Do you think that you make decisions that go against that or move towards that?
My happiness, completely against.
That's not good.
No, which is why I'm like,
and that's
emotional.
Is that going against the grain, though?
Do
most people make decisions not about happiness, but about getting further, and they'll deal with happiness when they retire?
I think, but see, that's the mistake that people keep making. I've always, so for a long time, my happiest moments, my healthiest and happiest moments were when I was making myself happy. On my own time and my own dime, when I was making myself happy, that I made the most money, I did the most things that made me happy, I flourished as an individual. The moment I stopped doing that, I've just been completely miserable.
This show is really depressing.
No, I just, I started it. No,
oh my god.
I just been feeling I'm going through a lot this week. You know what? I noticed too, because so August is my brother's birthday, September is mine.
Mm-hmm.
So once my brother's birthday passes, I always get like, okay, we're getting to my birthday. Here we go, another year, nothing
I
accomplished.
thought you liked your birthday.
I
You used to
love when I was happy. Now I'm like, I'm just old and fat and miserable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You used
It's-
to make it. You used to force it on me as an event.
For a whole month.
And then you had the nerve to have all these things happen in September. It's just
I
annoying. Annoying on a whole nother level. What are you, a Libra?
Yep.
Ugh, God.
I know.
Ugh. Anyway. So let's transition to something more better. Well,
Let's
not
talk
really.
about RESPCT.
So this is our segment entitled "Yep, That's Trending." Unfortunately, so we had planned to speak about Aretha when we discussed this. When we found out that she fell ill, and then today, you let me know that she passed away, and so we kind of wanted to do somewhat of a trending tribute to her.
Because we're going to say a little prayer for you.
But so Marissa's going to, every thing she comes out of her mouth is going to be a song title.
Think.
Anyway. Stop! Can I finish what I'm saying?
No way.
I can't.
Okay, I'm done. I'm going to rock steady.
I'm done. You go ahead and take over.
No.
I'm
just
done.
here daydreaming.
You know what? I was going to bring up that song. I was hoping you were going to mention one of the damn songs I was going to bring up, but you just being so whatever. That's actually one of my favorite Aretha songs. And it's weird because I didn't grow up, like, she became popular, I guess, in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Like, she had some songs or whatever. But I think, like, the late 60s isn't that when Respect came out? Like, 67, 68, something like that. Anyway, so she became popular
68,
back
wow.
in the 60s, and the thing about it is that there's only certain people that even in today's generation, we're talking what, 50 years later almost?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right?
Yeah, over
50 years.
Yeah.
So it's like to still have this strong of an impact and still making, she sang at the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? She still has this far-reaching impact on society and the things that she's done musically and culturally, civil rights movement and stuff like that.
Yes.
I was reading today that she offered to post a bail for Angela Davis when she was arrested. So it's like things like that where you're like, that's how far back she goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the music is like amazing, and we all know her voice, and there's never been anybody that has ever sang like her. There's a lot of people that try to remake her songs, stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's like, that's Riri.
Riri.
That's her. That's it. But I was saying with the Daydreaming song, I didn't really grow up a Aretha Franklin fan. Like, as a kid, like, there's only a couple of songs that came out when I was a kid that I was like, that today, it's like the George Michael song, the one that she had, Knew You Were Waiting, that came out in like the 80s.
Such a good song.
And then Pink Cadillac. Like, those to me were like,
What about Bridge Over Troubled Water?
when did that come out? But that song is old. It wasn't like a new.
Oh, right. So we're talking, let's do 70s?
No, 80s. Because 70s, I was young, but it's really the 80s where I started to really. And so those two songs for me were impactful, but it really wasn't until other artists started to sample her music as I got older and started to remake her music. And so I fell in love with Daydreaming when I heard the remake by Mary J, because Mary's my favorite artist. I just love Mary. And Mary did it, and I was like, who sang this original? Because even though Mary redid it, she didn't update it. She kind of sang it in the same vein.
I kind of like when people do that, and I do and I don't. If they have a good voice.
They can do it.
Yeah.
They can make it their own without completely, like, putting a hip-hop beat or something behind it. But, so, then when I heard Aretha's version of Daydream, I was like, oh my God. And then you ever hear like a song, somebody sings something, and then all of a sudden you go in the vortex, you start listening to everything you can.
Yes, that's like me with another artist, but yes, where it's touching your soul.
Exactly. So what do you think? Are there any songs that come to your mind when you think of her, or any memories like that?
You know what's so funny? So you and I are music fans.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I like about talking to you about music, I can pull any genre from any decade and you'll know something about it. But what I like about, so Aretha to me is like, so she's one of those people that you don't realize how much you like her songs until you start looking at the song list.
Yeah, right.
Because like,
and
I'm
she's
like,
a songwriter.
That's, yes. which is a talent in and of itself.
Right.
But like, okay, I'm just gonna name a few songs, and you're like, oh yes, right. So Respect. We're just gonna have to talk. Natural Woman.
Okay.
I Say a Little Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I Knew You Were Waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Freeway of Love.
Oh yeah, that was my jam.
Pink Girl. Since You've Been Gone. Ain't No Way. Rock Steady. Until You Come Back to Me.
Until You Come Back to Me.
Daydreaming. Baby I Love You. Do Right Woman. Do Right Man. Precious Lord. Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Change's Gonna Come. Rolling in the Deep. Oh, right? Yes. You Send Me. The Thrill Is Gone. Something He Can Feel. Right? Rockabye, Your Baby with Dixie. Won't Be Long. Today I Sing the Blues. The House That Jack Built. Just like, for real.
I can't. It's just, it's on another level. Nobody can match her fly.
But, and that's the thing that I feel like, you don't realize how much you're a fan until you start looking at the song list.
Right.
And this is one thing that I always admire older women. Because
You pointed to me. Are you trying to say something?
I'm pointing to the ceiling.
No, when you said this is what you did the...
Oh, no, hold up, let me talk.
Oh, okay.
That was the pointing, not you. I pointed, so the one thing that I admire by older women, which is, what we should all aspire to be, right? Because obviously aging isn't a given. But what I mean into that, how when you speak to an older woman, they're like, oh, in your 30s, you feel like this. In your 40s, you feel like this. Whatever. When you look at someone and they're unapologetic about demanding certain things.
Right.
But it's respect and understanding the craft. So remember how when she used to perform, she would demand that the air conditioner was off. Yeah. And she would wear a coat because it had to do with her instrument. Right. And I remember there was a show that she was doing and they were videoing it. And she was practicing and she had a down coat on. And she was like, "You guys have the air conditioner on, don't you? Turn it off. Turn it off right now. Turn it off." I remember that. And it's not even, she's pulling a diva. It's not even so much that.
They tried to go with that.
They tried.
But it didn't work.
But it did. That's what I'm saying. That's what I like, that it didn't work. You don't have to apologize for demanding respect when it comes to someone's craft. Right. Or really anything. If it's not hurting you, you should respect them. But I appreciate that from older women because that's something that we should all aspire to have early on in life. Yes. But we don't encourage that. No. The way we should. No, especially for women. Right. And I appreciate that in women.
It's funny because it's so weird. I feel like this happens to me a lot. I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago when she wasn't even in the news for illness. I think I mentioned to you about that I took this picture with her. Yes. At a concert. Yes. She took her wig off and threw it down on the ground. She started playing piano. Yep. And I was like, that is so crazy because it's not like we're sitting around talking about Aretha Franklin. Yeah. It's not like she was on the tip of our tongue, but I think somebody else was in concert.
Tiana Taylor, but that's something new.
No,
right?
that wasn't that. I don't remember. Somebody, it might have been Tamar. I think it was Tamar.
It was Tamar when she snatched her wig off, but that was more like in the drama of it all.
Right.
But okay,
but
whatever.
If you're gonna be like, I'm sure Aretha planned to do it. Yeah. But it's like, you do it the right way. Like she's playing the piano, takes the time to snatch it off, throw it down. The crowd goes crazy. She got her fur coat
nuts on the keys.
She got her fur coat. She's banging on the keyboard. She's singing the top of her lungs, and I'm like, holy crap! And I just remember afterwards going up to her and telling her. It's like one of those things where I don't even remember what I said. I just remember two things. She and I were like the same height. I'm like, wow, she's little. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yes,
really?
Yes. I had no idea. And that I had no words. Like I don't even remember what I said. I just remember being like, picture? And then my friend took a picture of us. It came out blurry or whatever. But and sitting here today, it's like a reminder of how blessed I am to have been in the presence of so many great people in this in music. You know what I mean? And we tend to take it for granted and not appreciate it. But I do believe that she is one of the few musicians in the world that's going to get her due respect and recognition. Yeah. And like, there's not going to be any negative. No. Like, what do people anything negative that somebody says, you're gonna be looking at you like, oh, you just might be negative.
Yeah.
Fake news. So it's just like one of those things where you just, damn, yo.
Yeah. But
damn.
It's one of those things where 76 is still young in my mind. It's still relatively young. But you know what a tremendous legacy and what a tremendous life. And that's something that we all pray to have once we're present
sucks.
with. Oh, she had cancer?
Pancreatic.
Damn, cancer.
Cancer, man.
Yeah.
Can one of y'all scientists out there find a damn cure, please? What are y'all doing?
It's out there, but
what are y'all
making
doing?
Money.
Whatever.
When the new something comes about, then they'll cure cancer.
It be one of your kids.
Oh, I could only pray.
No, you don't want them to be the one to discover cancer. They're too young. That means we gotta, discover a cure.
Yeah.
You want it before they, let them cure something else, Let them cure depression,
Oh, my Lord. Start
Let them
with
get
me.
rid of bullying,
Start with
that kind
me.
of thing.
Oh, that'd be... You know what? Bullying is only going to stop once we respect ourselves.
Exactly.
Because think about it. Like, hurt people hurt.
Yep.
And you hurt someone at home, they're going to turn around and hurt someone outside of the home.
Exactly.
So until you can, genuinely fix yourself, bullying's not going anywhere. Fix yourself. And it's so funny. I was at a kid's place, just a quick bullying story.
Okay,
just quick bullying story. I was at a kid's place, and this little kid took something, and it was like a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, took something out of another kid's hand, and the dad goes, well, next time they do that, you hit them. You have to be tough. And I remember looking at him like he was such a piece of garbage. It's a little kid. It was a baby that took it out of his little kid's hand. But you tell your kid to be tough to somebody smaller and younger, what are you teaching them?
Yeah.
What you're doing is showing them to be a bully. Just because you're bigger, use that strength for something different.
Right.
If you can figure something out a little bit better, use that knowledge for something greater. Exactly. But what's great about Aretha is that on that note, what's great about Aretha is that she shared her knowledge. She didn't hoard it. And that's what was so giving about her. She shared her and what I really truly appreciate about certain artists, and that's in all facets and genres, when they're willing to share that medium with someone else, and it's not that you're taking away from them, you're adding to the medium. Yeah. And she's one of those, generous and giving. She knew, she shined in her own light. She didn't need to dull yours.
She's one of those few artists. At some point you're in the business this long, but she controlled her image. She didn't want anybody to know she was sick. It's like, I have control as long as I live and breathe and have full control of my faculties and my mind and so on and so forth, that I'm going to control the narrative. Yeah. And so she made that effort. But you're right. She was so giving, doing the Elton John's AIDS benefits. And, it's just, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted her. She got the Presidential Medal.
Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yeah, from President Bush 2. So it's like, it's far-reaching. She's definitely going to be missed, but she's an icon, and I pray that forever she's going to be recognized as the great person that she was, and how much she contributed to not only music, but to the American culture and society as a whole. We can only pray to do that in our own little cultural reach and grasp. Be that for your kids. Be that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And thank you for Marissa for being you. Tamika. I'm enough, I know. I love you, and you're enough. Where can they find us? Yes, 18. On Twitter and Instagram. Wow. Okay. At me, boo. Wow. Slide into them DMs. And thank you for the people that have been commenting on our Instagram page. Rissa Rose. Oh, yeah, her. Yep. And then Barbara from Brooklyn. I can't remember her hashtag. She wrote something yesterday. I didn't respond back. You can write her back. And Croxy L. Yeah, Croxy. We gotta go there. We gotta go get a drink. Yeah. Some wangs and bangs. All right. Talk to y'all next week. Bye. Bye.